That'll be the outro. That's when
Hello, Internets. I'm Joe.
I'm Eric.
and I'm upset at Joe.
And
Aw.
you're listening to Just Cool Enough, and you know sometimes you just gotta be an idiot. Sometimes you just gotta miss all the signals. And
Dude, you're missing out on sweet, sweet woman action.
sometimes you just gotta be the guy who just doesn't realize what's going on.
So
And-
wait, what happened? Tell us a story.
I think it's gonna be like a rom-com story here.
In West Philadelphia.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Stop saying in West Philadelphia. God damn it. So I was hanging out with some people I know Sunday before an improv show, and I was telling a girl.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool.
I was. I was not shooting some b-ball, but I was doing other things, mostly sitting around and
Moist things.
No, it was pretty dry day. Tomorrow will be pretty moist. But I was hanging out, and we were talking. And somebody asked me what I did. I was like, a girl asked me how my Saturday was, and I was like, oh yeah, it was great. It was board game night, so we were playing board games. And then she
pick up line, Eric, dude, bringing it strong, nice.
Well, then she goes and asks me about board games and stuff, and she starts talking about how she's never played Settlers of Catan, and she's always wanted to play it, and blah 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 blah. And
So you played Strip Catan.
no, obviously
Where you
I
exchange
make
all
a
the resources for clothes.
No.
I need 2 socks. Can I have 2 socks?
You have to barter. All I have is socks.
yeah. Jesus Christ, I keep getting socks. I'll trade hat for pants. Anyone hat for pants?
I do hat for pants and sock. I just need one.
Yeah, I just gotta get rid of this sock. I got too much sock. So just somebody take sock. I don't care at this point. And then what I did do, which was much better, is stop the conversation with her and then start another conversation with the guy sitting next to me about Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
Yeah, but then she started asking me all these questions about Dungeons and Dragons, and we had a very long conversation about Dungeons and Dragons and shit like that.
There's a woman who is interested in talking to you about things that interests you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did what any of you listeners would probably do. I didn't realize anything that was going on, ended the conversation, and didn't bring it up ever again.
There you go. Perfect.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, obviously, right?
I
want
to hear the end of it.
Yeah, I want to.
I'm just gonna say this girl. I'm like, this is a girl who I wanted to ask out and chickened out and shit. Like many times over, and I just feel like she's like, I don't know if she likes me or not, but I feel like she's way too nice to me. Like she goes out of her way to talk to me so much. Like,
so here's what you do: you strike up a conversation with her again about things that interest you, clearly, because that's the way to go. And then you start saying, "Hey, listen, there's this girl I've been thinking about asking out," and like, pretty much describe her, but when you go to say the name somebody else. And if she looks completely disappointed, then you know that you had a shot. If she doesn't look disappointed,
you have the best
you shouldn't have made the word.
In the world, like.
But start out with just nagging, just say, "Oh, I like that you don't care about your appearance some days," and just like all that horrible shit that those fucking things, those shitty books.
Like, I mean, who would shaving your eyebrows is like beyond me. I mean, I wouldn't.
Somebody said that
you're not into that kind of thing.
Yeah, somebody. Never. Ike, stop giving advice to Eric. It's clearly not working.
I've never taken any one of your advices about anything.
That's why it hasn't been working. See, yeah. Joe's blaming me for it not working.
I just think I left you alone with Eric. I left you alone with Eric, and now he's talking. Like, now look at him.
You left me alone with Ike for 3 weeks, and I asked a girl out for the first time.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. This is what I'm saying. You need to get back in your fucking hole. Who's gonna edit this show once you get a girlfriend, dude? You do not understand how much time and effort girlfriends take. It takes a long time. Like you gotta do things. You gotta go out, and it's wonderful and nice and everything. But sometimes you just want a podcast for like an hour.
Because at first, like, who are your friends? And then you tell them, they're like, what do you do at podcasts? And they're like, well, I don't like your friends or your podcast, so you should stop doing those things. And you're like, okay, And
Yeah.
then I'm going to be left here with Joe. And
Yeah, well,
do you like being left here with
Look
Joe?
what happened to
Does
Max
Joe
Speed.
like being left with Joe?
every time I get a new girlfriend, I lose a podcast.
Really? Because you've been with the same girl for like 5 or 6 years,
And
you,
that's how long Max Speed has been off the air.
yeah. But it's also you've also done 3 other podcasts that fell apart for no.
Those were actually, we weren't going to bring it up, but since you figured it out, he's had affairs on the side
Oh,
3
God.
different times.
It all comes out on this week's show. Just
So-
pulling up Bears
just-
Hall.
fit. Yeah, and that's why Study Show and your
They
car
were-
podcast, and then like Fit Pals, you had an affair and then you broke it off and ended Fit Pals, but then you got back together with her for a few months and then it's
My podcast, we can't end the show. If the show ends, this means my relationship with Sarah might end. That's it. I'm sealing the deal one way or the other.
You're like, no, Eric, you don't understand. The only thing Sarah likes about me is that I'm friends with you.
She's been using me this whole time just to get closer to Eric.
Very
No.
slowly. It's a
It's
very
not-
slow game.
It's not that she's trying to get close to me. It's just the only thing she finds attractive about you is that I will spend time with you. So,
It's because you make me look so good by comparison.
yeah.
That's how it works. So I'm in. That's why I'm trying to keep I need you to keep the bar really low. Stop asking girls out. Stop taking showers on a semi-regular basis. And I need you to, if you just put that weight back on, that'd be really good. Because you're really encroaching on my style here.
Yeah. Well, too bad, because I was going to ask her out. Well, I was going to kind of not full ask on her out, because Monday is game night again. So I was
Oh yeah,
going
don't
to say...
do it on Mondays. Just be like, hey, I have another relationship on Mondays.
No, I
So
was
what you
gonna...
need to
No,
do, Joe, is
shut
you
up.
need to
I'm
start
not
another
finished.
podcast with Eric so that when he gets his girlfriend, you can drop the other podcast. It's like you only pick it up with the idea that you're going to, drop that.
No, I was gonna do like a not full ask out. I was gonna be like, hey, Monday we're playing board games at my friend's house, and he has Settlers of Catan. If you want.
Well, obviously she didn't want to just be friends with you. That's for sure,
Yeah,
right?
she wanted me
Well, I
co-sign
mean-
her lease.
Don't you think of the same thing about Eric? You don't really want to be friends with him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get closer to him all the time.
Oh, that's
Nobody
the
really
one
wants to be
closer.
friends with me, but in a different way than you guys are saying.
I think so. How do you have so many loves of your life now, Eric? You've just been breaking hearts left and right. What's your secret?
I regularly see 2 to 3 girls now, and so I'm instantly in love with all of them since they speak to me in real life.
I think that's those are true words right there. They're nice.
He's gone from being like a social butterfly to like a social ostrich. I'm trying to think of like the next big creature that we could go to.
That doesn't fly.
Well,
The next thing that's not an insect, I'm pretty
So-
sure it goes butterfly and then it goes butterfree after butterfly.
Yeah.
That's the next step in the evolution.
and then Butterface.
Oh
Yeah.
God, hopefully not.
I want to be a social B-drill.
So, social metapod.
No, B-drill. B-drill's awesome. My metapod is okay, but
He's antisocial.
How about a social talking tiger?
Hidden dragon.
Like
I
the
thought
one
we were doing
from
a word
Dungeons and
association game, like in an improv class. I don't know.
yeah. I don't
Oh
know.
man, so we actually do have some emails this week. People, listeners, actual
we do,
people.
But I have beef with you, Joe.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get to the beef first then.
So do you remember last week on the show I was saying I was having some audio issues and
Oh,
you
God.
gave me a
Oh,
suggestion?
gosh,
So your suggestion was, well, maybe you should update the drivers.
Oh God.
And then you linked me to some drivers, which, like a moron. I was like, Joe probably knows what he's talking about. Sure, I'll go ahead and do that. So I installed the drivers after the show.
Wait, I
and,
linked you to drivers specifically for your thing.
The Realtek drivers. Yeah.
Oh, I said, okay, look at your Realtek. Okay. Keep
You
going with
sent
the
me
beef.
specific ones. You're like, these are probably what you want.
God.
So I went there, and first of all, it didn't fix the problem because I'm
Okay.
still having the issue where, like, when I'm trying to load a web page and do the show at the same time, the show like lags out. But for the first 12 hours, I just lost all audio across all of my platforms, and then I could get only certain things on my headphones or through the computer, but not through both. And then eventually I lost it all again. I had to reinstall.
So wait, what are you just lip reading the show right now?
No, I did eventually reinstall the drivers that I found somewhere else. I'm still having the problem that I was having, so it didn't actually fix anything. It just gave me a giant headache for a few days, especially right around the time that I was trying to play D&D this week.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Which I'm sure you're super upset about.
No, I don't want to try to impede your your D&D experience.
What you got to do is you got to just ignore all advice he gives you. Like I told him specifically, like we talked about my graphics card and all the problems with it, and I said
try a new driver.
No, I was like it's just a bad card. I knew it was a bad card and I needed to replace it. And then like a few days ago, he sent me Linus Tech Tips video about like taking your graphics card apart and cleaning like the innards of it. I'm like,
okay,
that's not the
sent
problem.
that video before I watched it. I was an idiot for doing that.
Yeah, I was like, first of all, the problem isn't that my card's not clean. Sure, it could probably it could use
every card could use a cleaning. All right, I get it. Listen, Eric, I'd like to formally apologize to you because I didn't watch the video. I thought he was just gonna do a quick explanation. I watched it. I'm like, I wish I could undo that comment to Eric that I just.
Well, that's okay. I didn't bring it up because I literally like maybe an hour or so ago before you sent that bought my new graphics card,
which is a monstrosity. So, is your power supply gonna be able to handle that mamma jamma?
Well, I don't know. My power supply is a meager 850 watts.
Okay, you'll be good.
So, girl advice from Mike is to computer talk from Joe. Is that what you're trying to say? You're trying to. So listening to my advice about girls is like it should be like listening to advice about computers from Joe.
Yeah.
I recommend listening to my advice.
Yeah, it works so well for updating my drivers.
Listen, I mean like I'm not right. I can fix your problem in 2 minutes. Let me go into your freaking settings. I'll fix it. I promise. Give me 2 minutes.
You're gonna find all the. I mean, what?
I want to. Well, actually, that's the only reason I want to get on TeamViewer and check out your computer. Like, Joe, why are you transferring all these files to your network drive? Like, it's no big deal. This is just
totally
going. This is the driver update process that I was talking about.
But you're uploading it, not downloading.
You don't understand. It's different now. Once it hit 2010, upload is download.
Windows
it's totally
8.1.2.4. This is the way it works now.
I'm just gonna reroute all your traffic through my router so I could see everything you're doing.
Listen, Ike. It's just that he's got some things on his computer that he has to get rid of, but doesn't want to lose. So he just needs you to hold on to him for a little bit.
Yeah, it's not yours. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to worry about it. I'm just saying, I gotta.
In fact, legally, you probably should pretend it doesn't exist. Like you should feign ignorance at all possible times. But
avoid getting into trouble at work for fear that if they arrest me and go through my computer, they may find sensitive material.
I'm just saying. The IRS they'll never find all the info, Ike, so don't worry about it. They can't find just a few key documents. Should we joke about government agencies on the show?
Well, we might finally get some listeners.
Yeah, that's what I've said that before.
So, can we go to these emails, or do you still got beef because Ike doesn't know how to read directions or something?
Sorry, I can't read your lips. My audio card keeps cutting out. All right. I don't know.
I'm really good at lip reading, though. Seriously.
I know. You should see me. Never mind.
Oh,
I don't know where I was going with that.
Oh.
I
went a couple different
I always feel
directions.
bad. I don't know if it's Hotash or Hotash or I don't know the pronunciation.
I used to say Hotash, and then I said Hotash, and I just don't know what's right either.
So Hotash, Hotash, if you could help us, because I want to say it's actually probably Hotash. I don't know. Anyway, we have Hotash right.
I like to say hot ash, like it's
Ash?
like somebody who's just
ash?
like a hot girl. Like, oh,
you know, her Hotash?
Hot ash.
Ash could be a boy's name.
Nope. It could be.
Oh, that's
Ash
true. Maybe it's a really hot guy. All right, read it anyway.
Yeah.
This is story time. He says, "Hey guys, how about a story to use as content on your quote show?"
Our quote
so about
show.
18 months ago, I applied to go back to university and was accepted and began doing my bachelor's of biomedical science.
Ooh.
As you can guess, I have fairly high study load, and as a result of certain things, got less attention. Sadly, this includes just cool enough. Priorities. It started with missing an episode here and there. Then exams came around, and I missed nearly a month. Then I went into my second year of study, and all podcasts just fell off. Today I fixed this. I downloaded all of JCE and have been in the library listening to them one after the other while doing prep work for my exams and work in the laboratory. The show is still as funny as when I left. I had a blast.
So still
That's
not
a
funny.
that's a straight.
You haven't
straight
progressed at all, actually. You guys are still exactly in the same place I left you. That's what I just read between the lines there.
I've had a blast and gotten some weird-ass looks from people around me when I'm laughing my ass off. I'm glad to. I'm gonna make sure to catch each week's episode from here on in. And Joe, Jesus fucking Christ, you need to learn to pronounce console. It's not that hard, even for someone like you. Cheers. Hodash.
What? Wait, C-3PO. Right? Isn't that right?
CP3O?
C-3PO. What? It's council.
Console.
Console?
Council.
No,
Like
console.
You're playing a game and it's counseling you.
No, it's console because it's an electronic console.
It's a
and
council.
Council is like the Council of Elrond.
No, it's the console of Elrond.
It's console. It's walking you through your feelings on a digital form. It's consoling you. You guys are all doing it wrong.
We've all been wrong, and Joe's been right this entire time.
You don't know the creator
And by
actually.
I mean everyone else in the world, but Joe's been wrong this entire time.
These terminals will console people into feeling different emotions visually. I call it the console. See?
The council will console on the console.
See? There you go. Maybe you
I saw like somebody posted a tweet where it's like English is weird. It's like through tough, through tough thought something like basically just all the words that are basically THO or whatever that are like tough through thought
which are all basically the same word to me. They're just like
they look exactly the same.
Oh gosh, I wonder how many times I meant to say thought and just did like though. Oh
Yeah.
god, I can't even.
And I'm not the greatest speller, but speaking from an educator's point of view, we love to get papers where it's just misspelled, wrong words across the board.
Because it gives you leeway when grading, because you have more.
This is
it's
where
more
I'm
up for
going.
Interpretation.
WEAR.
Where?
This is where I'm going. Where are you going? Which
we are going. We're going.
they burned the witch WHICH at the stake. I want to say that first of all,
They burned
bachelors.
the WHICH at the T or the STEAK.
Which steak did they eat?
The witch steak.
The 16-ounce witch steak.
Which steak burned at which steak?
It's thoroughly cooked witch steak. This would be even better if we wrote these out, but I'm not going through that.
Yeah.
We'll leave it up to Physics Baby to figure out.
He's the only one that can save us from our thoughts.
So, a bachelor's of biomedical science, the only problem I find with that is any major that requires 2 words to describe it, including art education, which I'm guilty of, is either really, really difficult or not worth taking or both. Same thing can be applied to any kind of class.
I didn't know you were a fan of blanket rules like that.
If it's like algebra, not bad. But if it's like, I don't know, biomedical science, not going to happen.
So wait, what's the rule again? I need to know your sweeping generalization so I can see if I can invalidate it.
If it's one word
okay.
for either a class, like a college level class, like mathematics course, or a major, then it's worth taking or fairly easy. If it's 2 words, it's either a really hard class or not worth taking, or both.
Or both. Wait, you can't have
like applied physics, fucking hard. Wouldn't want to take that class. Plus, it sounds incredibly boring. But if it's like illustration, I'd be like, hell yeah.
I know a co-host of yours that might dispute that class. They're that whole
or
statement.
agree with me.
Oh yeah, that's true. He probably does agree with you. He's so beyond that. I can't think of anything to invalidate that.
I mean, engineering's pretty tough, but there are a lot of people that do it. But like
awesome.
Mechanical engineering, fucking hard or incredibly boring.
It's fucking hard. But boring to some. I don't know. That's up to. Anyway, I'm really happy to see Hot Ash here and back, and that's awesome. We like getting listeners back after they, decide to go out in the world and do things, and they're like, oh man, what's that feeling? It's this emptiness inside of me. Oh yeah, I need a little Just Cool Enough. If you want to participate in Just Cool
I need
Enough,
a little Just Cool Enough inside me.
inside your ear holes, fill your holes with Just Cool Enough. Fill your heart with Just Cool Enough by donating to us, and know that we love that when you do that, so it fills your heart up. Go to justcoolenough.com, hit the donate button because we like it, but more importantly, send us emails because we can't keep doing the show if we don't get content. Our email address is theshow@justcoolenough.com. Again, that email address is theshow@justcoolenough.com. We have another email that was sent.
We do.
Well, I
But
just
first,
want
I
to
wanna know.
before we get there, I just want to mention that I've been over the past few days. I've been slowly getting back to uploading our old shows back onto Shout Engine. So the iTunes feed and stuff like that should start to have more and more of the older shows. I've got up to everything from episode 95 and above is finally on Shout Engine, and I'm slowly working. It's just so time consuming to put all that stuff back up there. But I'm working on it, so it's getting there. I just because we had a guy on Facebook who's like trying to get one particular episode, and I like struggled trying to fix it, and I finally fixed it, and then I couldn't get I couldn't figure out, like, I was just like, fuck it, I gotta just start uploading back to the thingamabobber again, and I started it. So
there's a import tool that we worked on Shout Engine that might make your life a lot easier, Eric. We kind of Anyway, we'll talk after the show about some housekeeping, because I might be able to save us a lot of time.
Like all those fucking teachers at school when I was there. Like, here's math. Here's the hard way to do it. Now have a calculator.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, why don't you just give me the fucking calculator to begin with, so I didn't have to deal with all that
This
hard
whole
shit.
time I had all these logarithmic functions saved here, so you could just
Actually, he's been uploaded to Shout Engine this whole time under another file name that he was just going to move over to the Just Cool Enough thing.
No, I hated when teachers did that. I was like, seriously, the internet's here. I don't need to memorize this. They're like, nope. Yeah. What happens if the internet's a fad? I'm like, no, seriously, it's not going to be a fad. I'm pretty sure if I can't access this information,
it's like, why? You know it's right. I want to know how you did it. I put it in a calculator.
Do you know why we don't have a whole lot of listeners though? It's because the internet is actually going out. It's not that like people just don't listen to us. It's just, the internet's not as popular as it used to be. The kids have moved on.
Yeah, we'll just keep telling ourselves that it's not us, it's the internet.
We're just gonna keep riding this trend.
It jumped the shark about 5 years ago, and it's slowly been in decline. Which you can clearly see by looking at the numbers of World of Warcraft. That's also why they've had a slow but very steady decline. I can't corroborate that either. It's the internet.
Yeah, I mean they're just so like such a tiny amount at like 9 or 10 million people. Like just like nobody plays that game anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's
almost sad,
Not like it used to be. But back when it was like 11 million.
Back in my day.
Or 12.
12, yeah. We have this other email, which I'll preface first by saying, sometimes after the show, what we do live, we go looking for games to play with our listeners out there. And
I
so
trust that you downloaded Marvel Heroes, Ike, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Or you could play Grand Theft Auto, because you know how I recorded us playing the other day,
Did
Joe?
It not work?
It recorded because I just frapped it and it's been so long. Fraps doesn't record your microphone, so it's just you.
It's just me?
Yeah, it's just you and the game. It didn't record mine.
There's a really simple fix to that. You just do your parts over again.
Doesn't work like that. But I started.
Here. Oh, yeah, that's right. And then just dump it in.
For future reference, I'm just gonna fucking use Shadow Play because it's easier.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, it is. Oh, but Open Broadcaster 64 is an open source kind of
I like it.
thing.
I like Open Broadcaster. It's just harder to. You got to get more into the settings and stuff. And Shadow Play is just super simple.
Cool. I actually haven't used Shadow Play, so I don't know about it. But I've been using Open Broadcaster for that stuff. So man, that sucks because we had a pretty good time.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I had a good time. I don't know if it was as good for
I
you.
figure
as it was for me.
we could do it again, and this time but not the heist part, just like the shit we were doing outside the heist that was more fun.
Well, I'm still gonna do all the same stuff because I don't know what
Joe,
anyway,
why don't you fap when we play Heroes of the Storm?
Fap? You don't. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Yeah.
You know what? I had a lot of fun playing Heroes of the Storm too. But Eric, you never talk when we play Heroes of the Storm. You're just kind of like, eh. Is it because you're fapping?
That's because he used all of his talking time during the show.
Well, and I use push to talk, and I'm like concentrating on not dying.
See, you have to do what I do. Concentrate on dying.
Not playing.
Yeah, try to concentrate on not playing and just be active. You know, like we'll win a match eventually.
All right, Joe,
eventually, our ranks will slide down enough where we get placed with people that are as inept as me at that game.
We should keep doing the show till I finish downloading Marvel Heroes, and then we'll.
Is that why your internet connection started slowing down and your voice got all robot-y?
Right when I started it, yeah.
Okay, just making
Anyway,
sure.
this email, I was trying to say we were playing Heroes of the Storm. We have it amongst other games. And this is one of our listeners, Wolf, a friend of mine. He says, "Hey, guys, it's Wolf. I'm a new fan of the show and friends with Ike and Sorta Joe.
Don't
By
call
the
us
way,
friends, Wolf. You're not
he
even
has a
close.
moist relationship, or so I've heard.
Oh, God.
You guys should talk about Dota 2. Just kidding. But you should talk about Heroes of the Storm and discuss Ike feeding and new gameplay. Also, I think the Illuminati built the weed whacker that annoyed the woman that we talked about before the show actually started. Please mention me. I'm so cool. Thanks, Wolf."
Consider yourself totally mentioned. We're not friends, Wolf. You can't just go around telling people that. People are going to get the wrong idea. This is my
As Joe's just
relationship.
accepting friends requests on Facebook left and right.
Oh, I got a story about a friend that I defriended today. Pissed me off. Actually, it might get a little too real. Never mind.
Was it a real friend? Well, is it a listener friend or a real friend?
Well,
It was a listener friend.
Why don't you tell us outside of the show, and then next week I will just bring it up anyways.
Awkwardly making you embarrassed about the things.
No, not him. Just you.
Just okay.
Yeah, but you see, now I've gotten to open up on the show. That was my whole point. Now he's talking about all these girls. See, you couldn't do that. You couldn't even get to ask another girl out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually really proud, you know.
All you have to
and
do
also
is
kind of pissed because we need Eric in his hole. Get back in your hole,
All you
Eric.
needed to do was throw your internet friendship on the line with Eric and call him out, and either you'll just lose an internet friend, which I mean they're a dime a dozen, or he'll start talking about the girls.
You can get so many internet friends for a dime, like there's like a dime for like at least a baker's dozen.
A dime and a yen. I mean, they're about the same as a dime to internet friends.
Yeah, we should trade them as currency.
Dude,
in future currency, you'll have to use your Twitter follow. It's like In Time, the movie, but it's like Twitter followers and friends. You're trading yourself as a stock or currency.
I'll give you 300 Twitter followers if you'll give me that sandwich.
I'm out of Twitter followers. I spent all my Twitter followers on this new graphics card. Now no one can play with me, so I can't gain any more followers. I'm stuck, man. I hit rock bottom. I'm on my last 10.
Bartering for Twitter followers. You're taking loads out of Twitter followers.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Italians have been known for their mischievous ways, but just Italian.
You just don't worry about those documents I loaded on your computer.
Don't worry about where the Twitter followers came from, okay? Just don't ask any questions.
Joe, you transferred 30,000 Twitter followers to my computer.
Joe's like, I'm gonna make you offer you can't refuse. I will give you your Twitter followers. One day I'm gonna ask for a LinkedIn recommendation, and you will do it for me.
We're gonna take that guy's clout score down so far. I want him and his clout score dead.
I want his Twitter deleted. I want his Facebook deleted. I want his OkCupid deactivated, but still, because you can't fully delete it.
This guy's going to be running for girls on plentyoffish.com.
Yeah. Then it cuts to a guy who throws back his blanket and he has a broken iPhone in bed. And he's like, no!
Son of a bitch! That was just cool enough, Mafia. But just fat dude, nerdy dudes.
Hey, by the way, interesting trailer this week for Minority Report. You might like, hey, but we already have seen that movie. It came out like 20 years ago. Tom Cruise. Yeah, they're making it into a TV show.
Yeah, it looks
Vanilla Sky?
interesting. Yeah, Vanilla Sky there.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they're just like, we're going to follow around all the precogs. Yeah, we got a TV show.
It takes place like it's like 20 years or some shit later, and like one of the kids who was psychic is now like he's still psychic and trying to solve crimes, even though that
Guys, I've never
We
seen
need
Minority
another
Report.
cop
You're
drama.
spoiling Minority Report for me.
We need another cop drama, but we're running out of ideas. Oh, let's take a psychic kid from the future. Bam, got it.
it could be worse. It could be the Gem and the Holograms trailer. Did you watch that piece of garbage?
I saw that on YouTube. I'm like, that's a parody, right?
No.
It's not a parody. That's a real thing.
No,
Gem, she's truly
somebody-
amazing.
Someone said, hey, you know that show from the cartoon, Gem and the Holograms, that was kind of popular? What if we just made a movie and called it Gem and the Holograms for no reason?
What kind of premise is gonna? Oh, that sounds terrible. I really know it's not towards our demographic though, so it's like,
It's
National
basically
Lampoon's Vacation's coming out again, too.
yeah, and I was kind of psyched for that, but I watched the trailer. And I'm like, nah.
Oh, guys, big update in my relationship. Sarah watched all the 3 Star Wars that matter, and you know.
Oh,
So
I
the
thought you were
Clone
going
Wars
to tell us that you got another
the
girlfriend
Clone Wars
in the show.
cartoon, the Christmas special, and the Ewoks movie.
Actually, it was the Ewok cartoon.
Oh.
The first 2 seasons, though.
I
'cause they
tried to
canceled
watch the
third
Christmas
season.
special, but you can only get about 10 minutes into that before it just gets fucking old.
Yeah, it's aggressively unwatchable.
Oh, it really is. It's pretty terrible. So yeah, she survived all the Star Wars, and I was like, so was it everything you thought it was gonna be? By the way, I preface this by saying, like, if you make fun of this movie in a way that's not productive or I don't approve of, you're basically shitting on my Bible. So don't do that. It's just gonna lead to bad things, you know, like.
Unless it's the New Testament part, in which case you could shit all over that one.
Yeah. That's the prequels are the New Testament. All the extended universe was the New Testament. The prequels is just like,
No,
you know,
the extended universe is the is all of the
Old Testament.
It's all of the Old Testament books that were either cut from the Bible or
right,
never
like
made.
Lilith and all that stuff. They're
Yeah.
just like that's all like extended universe. Then you have the prequels,
Yeah.
which is the Old Testament.
because the whole testament of Judas, because Judas didn't actually die. He survived and had his own testament. That's like the Rogue One series. Like it's all like, or no, that's I would say that
like-
that is Boba Fett and Dangar after he rescues him from the Sarlacc pit, which everyone assumes is real, but is now officially not canon.
Right? Yeah. I think that's more like Leviticus.
Yeah.
Let's do this. So yeah, basically I was like, all right. But no, she was really good the whole time, and she didn't make me sad about my childhood or anything. So I didn't.
Yeah, 1.5 of those movies are good.
It's kind of true, but like, so we watched all 3, and I was really proud of her because every time one of those shitty CG scenes came up, she kind of looked at me like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "I know, right?" And I was like, I felt like we were there together, and like we were watching it for the first time. She's like looking at me like, "Why would
Just
they?"
like, I'm watching it again for the first time.
It was like that. I was like, because you know, just through pop culture, you kind of just pick up what Star Wars is and what you think it is and what happens. But there's a lot of holes in the plot, especially like the Lando part. She was like, I thought Lando was going to be a lot cooler. I'm like, I know, but he's still really cool, right? She's like, yeah.
And that whole third movie where it's like, hey, why is this different? Like, and
Yeah, why is it way more wacky?
why is everything wrong? Why do the stakes not matter? Why is Han Solo's character completely different?
that would be steak spelled STEAK.
These steaks are cooked wrong.
Yeah, they're medium well instead of medium rare, like I asked for.
So yeah, I mean, like at least the third movie, when we watched that, I think actually she might have enjoyed that one. I don't know. I have to interview her about it and be like, so what did you really think? You know, is this the relationship
after
going to
action
actually work
report.
out? but yeah. So like all the shitty CG scenes, we get to share moments, which is always nice. And just going back through it, it's hard to, you know, I if you would have watched that if I would have watched that just maybe a few years later, it probably wouldn't have resonated with me nearly as much. But it was just kind of that right place, right time kind of thing, kind of like World of Warcraft was, and it just kind of sticks with you. So
What's World of Warcraft?
Work. It's a strategy game. It's just called Warcraft. I think
It's
it was
Warcraft, Orcs and Humans.
yeah, Orcs and Humans. That's the one.
I'm more of a like World of Warcraft type guy.
That's a disgusting thing.
I'm more into what is it? There's this really crappy porn game called like Bone Town, and they made like a Warcraft, Starcraft like knockoff. I forget what they called it, but I remember seeing the screenshots for it.
I have no idea. This is like off my radar. You guys went too deep for me.
Joe actually has all of them on his computer. He's like, I don't know what.
I don't know. Because that's one of the files I'm uploading to your computer right now. I don't know about this file, guys. So I took a trip to Philadelphia.
Did you check out the bathrooms there? Perhaps give us an in-depth report on them.
I did. My bathroom was ballin' ass. It was like the cool thing in the 80s to have. I found this out because I'm like, why would there be a telephone by the toilet? My room at the Omni in downtown Philly had a landline telephone that you can call room service on. I tested to see if it worked. And you could like order a pizza while you're shitting out pizza. It's just like no, just open up the door. Yeah, no, open up the door. Just
hold your breath and hand it in.
Hand it in. I'm like this phone. I looked at a normal landline telephone while I was sitting on the toilet, and I thought to myself, what an utterly useless device.
Actually, could you take the empty box while you hand me that one through the door? Just close your eyes and hold your breath.
Slide it under the door. You don't want to smell this pizza.
No, but a landline phone with the wire and all in the bathroom, you can use those for like hanging your clothes on or towel or something.
I know, right? Like as a physical object. But I'm like.
If two people break into your room, you can throw that. It will hit them in the head, snap back, you catch it again, and then throw it again at the next person.
Like Daredevil, just like Daredevil does in this upcoming episode.
A much less impressive, fatter Daredevil. More like Thor and his hammer, though. Really.
Yeah, that was like after Frank Miller's run. They didn't know who to give Daredevil to, so it's just kind of like
languished a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of
went to a small production house called Cool Enough Productions.
Yeah, the comic. It took a while. It took a few years for Daredevil to recover after that. Because the whole point was like Elektra died, so he like
spoiler shit, Eric.
So this happened in the 80s, and so he consoled himself with food and stuff, and then he got fat, and then he lost his powers because he's too fat for gymnastics.
No, what happened? Diabetes takes away superpowers.
Oh yeah,
that's actually like the kryptonite of regular men. Like fat.
He just wanders around going, "What?" really loud now because he can't hear anything.
Oh God! But he still thinks he has powers.
At least I can read Braille still.
No, he lost his fingers to diabetes.
Oh God! The silent killer.
More than this.
Diabetes is actually a plot from Hydra.
Yeah. It was. It's actually that was later. It was found out that Baron Strucker actually was putting extra insulin into his insulin.
Extra sugar.
It was so he was actually injecting himself with too much insulin, and that's what really it was just really it was an odd period for Marvel. They went super realistic with everything. Thor was just like a handyman with a sledgehammer. Iron Man was a guy with a bucket on his head. It was like just. It was like a weird time.
Wolverine was just a waiter that used a lot of knives and set placemats.
He was actually a cook because he could really easily hold the steak down and cut it with the other one.
Elektra was just a girl with superpowers.
she's not a girl with superpowers. She's a girl with who wears red, but not much of it, and has size.
Size?
Yeah, you know that this 3-prong thing that that Raphael has.
Oh yeah.
She's basically Raphael, but she wears about as much clothing as Raphael.
She doesn't do machines,
but she's
though.
a lady. No, well, that's Donatello. You dumb fuck.
He's dead. Way to bring it up.
Yeah.
What? All these spoilers are happening. Donatello does machines.
Yeah, Raphael is just the angry one with size, and Elektra also has size.
I always thought she was kind of tiny.
Spelled S-I-G-H-S.
Yeah, S-I-Z-E.
He has like a red bandana and just stands and going.
I'm really size.
Oh my God, he's coming at us with the size.
Nobody does machines anymore.
Not like they used to.
If our episode was typed, it would be much better. We should annotate the whole episode so people could really pick up on all the English jargon.
YouTube already has this sort of auto caption stuff. It's awful. It never works. So technically it is. So the hearing impaired can enjoy it. But this show makes about as much sense in Google's horrible broken.
As it does not.
Yeah.
Actually, if you read the if you read the closed captioning done by Google, it's actually like a doctorate level, like graduate.
I'm deaf, but these guys are fucking like amazing.
It's this great term paper that can revolutionize modern medicine.
9 out of 10 deaf people agree. Just cool enough's the next best thing.
These poor people.
Well, I was watching, speaking of captions and things, I was watching, I don't know if you're familiar with Miyazaki. He's the guy who did, like, House Moving Castle. So one of my friends gave me... One of my friends gave me one of the DVDs, and I was watching it last night, one of the ones, I forget the name of it, was one of the lesser known ones, but it was funny because I had the English language with the English subtitles, and the subtitles were not at all what they were saying in English, like even close to it. They both made sense, but it was like they clearly...
Which movie was it?
I just know, I don't know the name of it, I just know it was a pig who flew a plane, and there was pirates involved.
Yeah.
I think that was called Flying Pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's from D&D, Joe. Flying Pigs, that's from D&D.
Just never mind.
That's
when
what I
pigs
thought.
fly, is that what I meant to say?
So,
I wrote down a couple of things.
You can write?
I don't know. Actually, I typed shit.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, the truth comes out.
Joe's actually a master of calligraphy.
He puts most Asians to shame. He just doesn't pick up a brush anymore.
I taught John Hancock how to sign his name, guys. And okay, Eric.
Sorry, I've literally been playing Grand Theft Auto for as long as we've been in this call. So, but please continue.
No, I was just wondering because you were talking about how like everybody you know has like been to therapy or in and out of therapy, and I thought this was like a really weird thing to me because I've actually like when I was a kid, I took therapy class or therapy. I don't even know what it was. I was in some therapy thing for like 3 sessions, and I'm like, I don't want to be in this. This guy's full of shit. I don't understand. Like, I think that, but is that like a prevalent thing in your social group? And I wanted to ask Ike also the same thing. Like, is that a thing that happens?
Since you're asking Ike, I'll answer for him. I'd say I don't know how incredibly prevalent it is in my social group, but I also in my social group are comedians and improvisers and actors who, if any of us had functioning, chemically balanced brains, would be doing anything else with our lives instead of trying to make it as fucking actors.
I guess that, but I mean, like I don't know. I guess that gets into motivation of why you want to become an actor and what validates you and things like that. And Ike, like, what about you? Because I guess I just don't see it, or maybe people don't talk about it as much.
As soon as Eric mentioned that he wasn't paying attention, I stopped paying attention. What was the question you're asking?
I think you need to take therapy. No, I don't even know. Did I even ask a question?
Yeah, you said how prevalent is therapy in sort of your social group, and do you notice that it's a thing with people like
it a
our
thing?
general
Is
age?
it
I feel like it was definitely a thing in my social circles, more so when I was in college and they had access to free therapy through the school because we had so people, then my friends say, oh, I go to a therapy thing like once a week. Even the people who are like, yeah, I'm totally grounded, but it really feels good to talk to somebody who's forced to listen to me. And so so
See,
in that case, but I like not so much anymore. Really, when it gets to like my social groups now, if there's therapy needed once a week, we all just go to the bar.
Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, because when I was in therapy, I was like a way little kid. I don't even know. Definitely not even double digits. And I can remember thinking like, why can't I just talk to my friends about these things? And so that's kind of what I've done. If something's you find
Yeah, but
somebody you
I
trust.
think that there's something more to talking to somebody who has no way of either A, telling anybody related to it, the story, anything, and getting a completely outsider view who won't be, hopefully, biased or skewed because you are friends with them. Like, that girl's a jerk. You're right. She is a jerk because, of course, your friend's going to back you up. But if you have, like, hey, listen, my girlfriend and I broke up and she's being kind of a jerk, you go, oh, why do you feel like that? And totally kind of, like, from the outside.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not. I guess I'm just trying to understand it, wrap my head around it a little bit, because, like I was saying, like at an early age, I've just used other people as my therapists, and by doing that, I mean just talking to them about
Hey,
everything.
friends, here's
and
all
not
my
knowing-
baggage.
Yeah, basically, I'm just like, hey, so like, what do you think about this? Just I'm constantly bouncing ideas off of each other.
So when Sarah decided to stick around a little longer than the rest of them, what, you decided to move in?
No, I stuck around longer than the rest of them.
She brought more baggage than you did.
I was the baggage.
She's like,
I am
"Sorry,
the
I can't."
baggage. What are you talking about?
She's been trying to get rid of you for some time, but nobody else will take you.
I'm the bag that won't leave.
Basically, Joe is Sarah's like deep psychological issues is Joe. Joe is her issue.
The manifestation of her issues.
It's like,
yes.
what is that
So
cartoon?
he's just actively trying to convince her that therapy's not that needed, and you should just talk to him because he's good.
That's what a relationship is. You don't need to talk to anybody else. Don't worry about a thing. Everything's gonna be okay.
We'll be okay together, you stupid bitch. What was that? I said we're doing this.
I have a fancy itch.
Fancy itch. Ooh. I have an itch that only I can scratch.
So then playing the therapist role for a quick second, Joe. What do you say to the fact that there are allegations levied against you about hurting somebody's feeling for not accepting their friendship? For example, I'm just gonna throw out names here. I'm just like randomly. These are random names, but let's say that earlier in the show you said that you don't accept Wolf's friendship. Now I'm just throwing out random names.
Yeah.
And he got upset. How would you, that you would not accept his friendship?
I would tell. I mean, like, I know this is totally
how does that
theoretical.
make you feel?
Yeah. Oh, how does it make me feel?
Yeah, when you know that maybe you've hurt somebody's feelings.
Well, the thing is, I don't know how that actually feels to hurt someone's feelings because I never do it.
No, of course not.
Yeah, it's definitely not any sort of emotional blind spot. I totally understand it. I don't need therapy.
Empathy to the
yeah, dude. Like, I have tons of empathy. Like, Wolf just doesn't get it. Like, I'm full of fucking empathy. I got empathy coming out of my asshole.
I'm also humble as fuck.
Dude,
like,
humble. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, how do you keep so humble?
That's exactly what I say all the time. I'm like, guys, I'm fucking humble. Like, I don't mean to like even brag about it because like I'm so fucking humble all the time. But like, I give money to like homeless people, and they like, I'm like, hey, like.
I mean, like I would if they ever asked me, but they always know like they don't mess with me.
I mean, like, that was like a theoretical. Like, it's not. I never actually give money to people because that's like my money, right?
But like
I'm really
I
giving,
would.
though.
Like I give in other ways. Like I'm like I put out positive vibes. You know.
I mean, like, I totally get what you're saying. Like, I feel those vibes. I just can't stand Eric, though, Ike. Like, Ike, I wish there was someone I could talk to about Eric and his just constant nagging. And it's
See,
just always talking about how he's so
Joe,
popular.
you talk to me about Eric. I talk to Eric about you, and he talks to you about me. I know that's the vicious cycle.
We actually have a clique within 3 people. I'm the cool kid. No, really, I am.
This show has 3 distinct cliques.
You choose wisely. It's like 3 different Pokemon. You got Bulbasaur. Wait, what? Bulbasaur, that other one, and the ugly one.
Squirtle and Charmander.
No, you get the pretty one, the ugly one, and the smart one. And Bulbasaur. Choose wisely.
Do you find that, and maybe this is just me, but getting older, I've become more empathetic? Like, to a fault.
Yeah, I know. My knee's hurting me all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Like, sometimes I walk upstairs.
Like when rain is coming, that's when it really kicks in.
Yeah.
No, like when I was like a kid and I used to go, over to my parents' place and my neighbor's place with my parents. We were watching like movies and it was like rated R movies and people are dying left and right, or it's really sad chick flick movies and like the girls all like, I'm like, I don't understand why you're crying. Like it's really not that sad. And like now I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, I'm more empathetic to the point like I see something on TV and my girlfriend's sitting there watching and I'm the one who burst out in tears. Like I tried to tell her a story the other day and I burst out into tears.
Dude, I think that's just an estrogen thing.
So clearly I must be. That's why my breasts are big. It's not because I've been eating too much.
That's why. Yeah, exactly. Like same deal here. No, dude. It's weird because I was having the feels a while back, and I had like this lump in my throat while I was.
It was cancer.
And this is my last show, guys. Just want to let you know I'm out.
It's right here. It's been like
it's not here so much, but it's right here.
I just thought it was because I was starting to develop feelings.
No, yeah, that's actually what it is. Feelings is a cancer. You need to get it. It's malignant. You have
removed,
but you have to get it removed as soon as possible. No, it's weird. I've gotten the feels more out of stories and. It is, Ike, I think you hit something
I did cry reading about Big Bird the other day.
That's what I'm talking about. That was the story I was telling my girlfriend. I burst into tears.
Wait. See if you can get me...
I started off on this. I was like, I'm not going to, I might cry, but I'm going to try
What happened with Big Bird?
I got like halfway into it, I'm like bawling my eyes.
The guy who plays Big Bird did a Reddit AMA, and like the first thing they asked him was like, "What's your most memorable experience like with a fan?" And he told this story, and I don't want to tell the story for you. You can just find it. Just search fucking Big Bird, you'll find it. But yeah, I fucking read this story and I fucking cried.
No, I want to.
Big Bird's in Michigan.
I will try to tell you the story. I'm pretty sure I can do it this time since I got through it, once before.
Like, if you cry on air, I'm going to end the show. And if you make me cry, I'm just going to cry more.
4 minutes away from the end.
Okay.
So if you had an hour or whatever, it doesn't matter. All right.
Make me cry.
What's your most memorable moment? He said this is from like the 1980s, so it was a while ago. And there is a kid who's terminal with cancer. He's a really young kid, like 5 years old or so. And basically gets this, because it's before the internet, before cell phones, he gets this letter in the mail that says, hey, listen, our son has cancer, he's terminal. What would really make his day is if Big Bird were to call him and tell him like he's his best friend. That's what he really wants. Because
I could already feel it tugging at my heartstrings. This is fucked up, dude.
He sees him on TV every day, and he's sad of the days that he doesn't show up. And so...
Because Big Bird doesn't always show up in every episode.
Right, yeah. So I get it. I watch Sesame Street. I'm not an idiot.
The guy calls Big Bird calls and starts talking to the kid, and he says they have like a 20-minute conversation just about this and that, and nothing in particular. And at the very end, the boy says, Big Bird, will you be my best friend? And Big Bird responds with, of course I will. And they hang up, and like 10 minutes later, the kid dies. And the parents write him this like letter saying like, explaining that and saying like, thank you so much for doing this, we really appreciate it. And like I'm sitting on the couch like telling my girlfriend, I'm like, he got this letter. I'm like, oh. She's laughing at me. My girlfriend's laughing at me because I'm crying. I'm like, shut up.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm at your level of feels with it, but like
you gotta read this. That's why I'm going. Why are you telling it? It's not going to be as good if.
Well, no, and that's the thing, and I'm ready for it. But I don't think I would be blubbering. But like I definitely can get
go read it. Go read it. But not right now. But I gave you the synopsis, so I kind of spoiled it for you. But if you really want the full raw emotional thing, go read it.
No, but seriously, like 5 years ago, I'd be like, whatever, it's a fucking kid. He died. People die all the time.
Right?
but now I'm just like, now that I'm old and fragile.
And like might have a kid someday, maybe.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I get
dying
you.
in Big Bird.
I understand exactly what you're saying, Joe, because like I think like maybe 10, 15 years ago I would have gone, yeah, whatever, like that's not my kid. But now I'm like, I cry because why hasn't Big Bird ever called me? I mean, it really gets to me that my entire life Big Bird's never called me up and told me that he's my best friend.
Why don't you tweet at him and tell him you have a terminal illness? Just go for it.
It's just not the same.
It's just not this. Oh God!
Just wait till he calls you with your terminal illness that you don't really have, and right when you're like, Big Bird, will you be my best friend? It's like, sure. Be like,
Yeah. Now I can die.
Die on the phone.
It's funny because a child's life ended.
Yep.
Oh God! See, we haven't matured at all. We're all fucking assholes.
That's what makes this as good as the first episode.
Oh jeez. Like that's terrible. I wanted to go there, but I was trying to be tender about it, and you went there.
Well, you see, you have to, because otherwise I'll, just, so I might as well. On the radio, I have to have this persona that I'm this bad, fucker.
No one thinks you're a badass. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I didn't say badass. I didn't say badass because that's I'm.
Do you feel like on the radio I'm just this total badass in my podcast?
I'm like I'm fucking empathetic person, all right? Like people don't understand.
I'm just trying to give Eric a little. See, now next time he tells a girl, he won't tell a girl to listen to his podcast because now the shit's on there unless you edit it out.
I've never told a girl to listen to this podcast.
I've told a lot of girls that I do podcasts. Nobody gives a shit.
Eric doesn't even mention he has a podcast. Like, what do you do Wednesday night? I'm cooking for my mom. I always make dinner Wednesday nights.
I made this mistake once of telling a girl once, and then I asked her out a month later, and she said no. So
yeah. Don't. I'm
not saying it's because I asked her or because I told her about
this podcast is.
If I didn't tell her, maybe things would have gone differently.
I'm just saying, like this, you have to treat this show as like your dirty secret when you're talking to girls.
I do. Yeah. You better believe I fucking do.
Like I'm like, Sarah, just go out to eat with your family. I got to do some dirty, awful shit right now. She's like, okay, Joe, I understand this is your vice.
See, I mentioned that I have some students. They don't listen anymore, but they had listened quite a bit last year.
We just lost all of our listeners.
And so one of them the other day was talking to, I was standing there, he was talking to one of the other students at my school. He's like, oh, yeah, there's this one time that Mr. Dodge said blah, blah, blah on this, and they're like, oh, when did you say that? And he's like, on this thing? I'm like, what thing? And he's like, it was, I don't remember. Anyway, and he just went on because I was standing around. I'm like, we don't talk about Fight Club.
No one talks. First rule is just cool enough. Nobody talk about it. Wait, everybody's following the rule. Good job, everyone. Nice job. I'd like to thank all the listeners that don't talk about our show. That CEO that was talking about our show, he needs to shut up. That's enough. Enough blabbing and free advertising.
Anyways, if you want to blab and free advertise shit, then you can always email us at thisshow@justcoolenough.com. But I think it's time we stop talking about all this horse shit and start plugging each other.
Oh, yes! Finally, we're here.
I don't know. I love horse shit.
Oh, yeah, God. It makes great fertilizer.
Let's
actually talk about horse shit for a little bit, guys.
I like it, like mushrooms. Mushrooms. I don't know if it's horse shit, though.
I don't want to talk about horse shit. Eric, what are you plugging?
You sure you want me
I made a huge mistake. I immediately regret that whole sentence and little dialogue that we just had.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to get a girlfriend now, just to show you. My plug for this week is a friend of mine from back in my community college days, Cameron, is in this really fucking amazing band called The Kelps. They had an album out a few years ago that's fucking amazing. I'm a huge fan of. But they got a second album coming out, and this Saturday, I believe. I don't know where you can buy it online, but it's coming out. But on the website Capitol Public Records, which I think might be their label, they have like 5 of the songs off their. I don't know if it's all the songs or if it's only a couple of them, but they have 5 songs for the new album up there to. Free to listen to. You can just fucking listen to them. I really like this fucking band. Like I saw this. I went once. He invited me to a performance once, and I went once just because I felt like I needed to get out of the house. And then I went to 2 other performances, which is crazy for me. If I go to see a band 3 times, twice on purpose, then I must really like them.
Eric just randomly shows up and there's bands playing at places. He's like, I don't know how I got here. I don't know who the fuck they are.
So my plug for this week isn't really a plug, but a call to action. If it's not even a call to action. It's just kind of a thing. Like you don't know what shoes somebody else has been walking in, so just like don't pretend like you know about.
So
it.
turn your spray some shit in that before you put your feet in it, because you don't want to get like.
Or just turn your shoe upside down and tap it a few times to make sure that no spiders crawled in there in the night.
Or snakes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted just to talk before we end the show about this thing that's been going around, and it's this. It's a comment. No, stop.
The clap.
Let me get serious for a second. There's this post that's rolling around that's like black people moving on black crimes.
Great. Now we had 4 listeners, and you just alienated from all of our listeners. Not quite
but
the black,
like there's a bunch of people commenting on this whole thing that's gone on in Baltimore and everything, and it's just like you don't know. You haven't lived it. Have you actually been fucking like? You just don't. Anyway, I don't know.
You're telling me there are a bunch of white racists on Facebook?
Shit, dude. I got pissed. Like this morning, I was going through my Facebook feed, and it makes it so easy for me to fucking clean it up. And I'm like looking at listeners. I'm like, why would you say something like that? You fucking asshole. You've never been like you've been living your fucking white privileged life. I bet you've never been actually broke, because I can tell you about that. And I bet you never, like, lived in a shitty part of a city. I'll tell you about that, too. But I don't know anything about this fucking race shit that's going on. And I don't pretend to know about it. And you shouldn't either. But you should be empathetic of their fucking situation. And if you think for a minute that they're just going around doing black-on-black crimes, then you're a fucking idiot. Like, it was... Dude, man, oh, my God. Yeah, exactly. I was
just... break that up. Yeah, wow, yeah. Joe. You were talking about therapists earlier?
I was just so... I'm just like... I went through my Facebook feed and just cleaned it up, and now...
You know what, Joe? You haven't had to call a 5-year-old dying of terminal cancer and tell him you're going to be his best friend, Joe.
That's right. That's right. Oh, my gosh, man. Like...
I assume that now you don't need to spill the beans after the show, and then me bring it up next week since you just did it.
What beans? Oh, I got beans to spill. You have no idea. There's beans everywhere.
All right.
Eric, delete that part.
Nope.
If anything, that's going to be the intro of the show, and we're going to add commercial breaks in. It will just be that spliced in. Now to this commercial break.
Just bring up the farting real loud during it.
You've never, and just going to be Joe saying you've never experienced black on black, and that's all it's going to say. Anyway, I'm going to plug this week Blue Apron. I got Blue Apron.
Wait! You pause for a second. I could have given you free meals, dude. I used Blue Apron. Why didn't you ask me?
So I got Blue Apron. And the first was free for part of it, so it was like 33% off. And so I had the best hamburgers last night I've had in a long time, and I fucking made them. Although it looks like my kitchen is a crime scene because of all the oil that's splattered everywhere, but I would definitely recommend that to anybody out there.
I will plug. There's a sketch from the UCB comedy YouTube channel called Shame Box, where it's like, yes, once a month a box comes in that shames me for not buying my own food.
I gotta watch that. It's gonna hit really close to home.
Yeah.
I might get some feels from it.
I've had to like argue with my parents, with my girlfriend, with my girlfriend's parents about justifying buying a box of food.
It makes sense if you don't want to go shopping and you want to try new things. Like that's why
I want to try new things because I know I definitely wouldn't go out and buy half the shit that came in this box.
Right,
that scares me. But if it's one serving and I can try it and at least hopefully I like it, and then I'll always buy it, or I won't like it, and then I don't have a whole shit ton of it sitting in my refrigerator dying.
I've kept all my recipe cards, and I'm just like, ooh, this one's a good one. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna totally make this one day, and I highly doubt I'm gonna ever do that.
I got some cress. They're like these little leafy things. They taste really good. They're from the mustard family. I ate them last night when I gobbled them up. They made my girlfriend literally vomit. Like she tried, she's like, "Oh, this is not very good," and then she gets a little more like Coke.
I thought this was something you liked.
No, I like it. I ate it up. It was perfect, so I ate the rest of hers. She just didn't like the flavor.
My girlfriend hated it. She vomited up blood. I'm gonna order it all the time.
Yep. I gotta kill that unborn baby somehow. What?
God. This has been a gruesome episode.
Yeah, I'm trying to end it, but you keep extending it. So thank you guys.
By the way, extends. It's natural male enhancement.
Yeah. You can always follow me on Twitter. I'm at Duncor, Duncor.
If it didn't work, could Eric make that offer? You can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Speedia40.
I had a bar down here at the beginning of the show, and then it disappeared, and then I couldn't get it to come back.
It was your sound card. That's what did it. It was your
It
sound
must be.
driver.
So
Here's some drivers to install.
You'll be
here's
fine.
where I take over your whole computer.
Have you
And
tried
that
cleaning the dust off of your
Graphics
lower
card.
third?
I'll just take the screws out of my motherboard and then take it apart piece by piece, air blow that shit out, and put it back together again with some hot
Awesome.
glue. It should
Perfect.
work perfectly. I'm gonna plug my Instagram. It's Ike_Dodge, although I haven't posted on there recently, but I do follow people and I enjoy seeing what people.
You want
are.
people to follow you,
especially
lurking.
mostly shit. I really enjoy that feed
And brown.
when they post. I mean, there's not a whole lot, but you know, it's mostly
Anyway.
shit, but it's good.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back next week probably, and until then, have a wonderful weekend and fuck off.
Probably? Why probably?